Parshas Vayeitzei, Tov Shin Pei Gimel, and now this week, as we begin our 14th year, no, we're not throwing a huge bash every week, but I just want to express again my Akar Satov to everybody who makes this shir happen. First of all, I want to mention an entity that I neglected to mention last week, because usually they like to keep it on the very quiet side, and I thought about it over this week, and I decided that even though they like to keep it very quiet, that's not my business. That I have to give my Akar Satov, and I need to give that Akar Satov, and I want to give it to the entire staff at the LakewoodScoop.com, who since the first week that we started giving the shir, at the beginning, the proprietor of LakewoodScoop.com used to come every single week himself with, I don't know if you guys know what a video camera is? I'm not sure. Some of the people in this room may have been born after video cameras, but there's something called a video camera. We used to stand it up on a tripod, which was a napkin holder at the Southside Sandwich Shop. And between the Lakewood Scoop and the Southside Sandwich Shop, we got, Baruch Hashem, a beautiful shir going out. And it was a shir that was really supposed to last for a week or two. And here we go, beginning, Baruch Hashem, B'li Ayin Hara, year 14. So thank you to everybody at the Lakewood Scoop, at the Southside Sandwich Shop, at the Bikur Cholim of Lakewood. And it's really because of you that gives me the chizuk and gives me the push and the fantastic production, the place that we have to say it, the way it goes online, the way it gets spread around the world. It's really, really very gratifying, and I have a lot of appreciation for that. And the Pasuk tells us in this week's Parsha, we're going to talk about something very special. V'hoya zaracho ka'afar ha'aretz. Yaakov Avinu gets a bracha that his children are going to be like the dust of the earth. That your children, Yaakov Avinu is told that your children are going to spread to the west, to the east, to the north, to the south. In other words, that they're going to be all over. They're going to continue to spread. And Chazal tell us that this Haftacha that was given to Yaakov Avinu is what we call a nachala b'li mitzorim. It's called a nachala without boundaries, without borders. And as in the way, the Gemara, Masechta Shabbos, Daf Kuf Yud Ches, Amud Aleph, tells us that one who is me'aneg the Shabbos, you are zoicha, a person who is me'aneg the Shabbos is zoicha once again to this term of a nachala b'li mitzorim. A nachala, an inheritance without boundaries. Just like Yaakov Avinu was told they're going to spread in every direction, they're going to go west, east, north, south, all over, they're going to continue to spread. So too, one who is me'aneg the Shabbos, and we're going to explain soon what that means. One who is ma'anik the Shabbos is zoicha to this nachala b'li mitzorim. As the pasuk in the Navi says, many of you are probably familiar with this pasuk, im tashiv mishabbos raglecha, and the pasuk continues, oz tisanag al Hashem, v'irkavticha al bomasei aretz, the reward for Shabbos, right? V'achalticha nachlas Yaakov avicha, that you're going to be zoiche to the nachla of Yaakov Avinu. So what Chazal are telling us here is that the bracha that was given to someone who is ma'anig the Shabbos, it's not like a bracha, the brachas that were given to Avram Avinu, and it's also not like the brachas that were given to Yitzchak Avinu, because Avram and Yitzchak had brachas that were with boundaries. As the psukim say, if you take a look in the Parshios of the past few weeks, the pasuk tells us by Avraham Avinu Kum hisalech ba'aretz, walk the land, because le'arka u'le'rochba, the length and breadth and width of the land, ki l'choet tanena. So we see that it seems that this bracha is confined to the land, to the length and the breadth of the land of Eretz Yisrael. So that is a nachla that has boundaries. And so too, by Yitzchak Avinu, the pasuk tells us, ki lecha u'lezaracha etein es kol ha'aratzois ha'el, that I'm going to give you all these lands, which it's mashma from here, that it's these lands and not other ones. Once again, a nachala, a bracha that has boundaries. But the bracha that's given to someone who is ma'anig the Shabbos is like Yaakov Avinu in our parsha, where the pasuk says, "U'faratzta yamav came of it's a fight of a negba." A nachla b'li mitzarim that's going to spread in every which direction. So the question here asked in Nesivos Shalom is, why was only Yaakov Avinu zoicha to this type of boundless and borderless nachla b'li mitzarim? Why only Yaakov Avinu, not Avraham and Yitzchak Avinu? And why is it too that one who is ma'anig the Shabbos gets this unbelievable bracha, the bracha nachala b'li mitzarim? Why not one who does other mitzvahs? Why do we pick the mitzvah of Shabbos to get such a bracha? So the Nesivos Shalom explains something very, very interesting. And he says that we need to understand that the defining midah of Yaakov Avinu was one of being mekadesh, the regular actions of Gashmias that we do every day, and to raise the level of the things you do every day to become a chelek of Torah. That is what essentially defined Yaakov Avinu. And this point, says in the Nesivos Shalom, is actually also alluded to in the dream of Yaakov Avinu, where we know at the beginning of the parsha, Yaakov Avinu has the dream where the ladder is firmly mutzav arza, it's firmly planted on the ground, but the rungs of the ladder and the top of the ladder go up to the shamayim. It's a sulam mutzav arza, v'roishoy magia shamayma, that the bottom of the ladder is firmly planted on the ground, but the top of the ladder goes up and it reaches up to Shamayim. And that represents the fact the bottom of the ladder is our mundane Gashmias, where we live on this world, and we deal with this world, and we act on this world. But we need to understand that the things that we do on this world, even though we're planted on the ground, we're a sulam mutzav arza, but we have the capability to bring them up. We have the ability to bring them to very high levels of avodas Hashem. And that is really what defined Yaakov Avinu throughout his life. This is what Yaakov Avinu teaches us. The Torah says that Yaakov Avinu woke up from this dream, from the sleep, and he said, "Ochein yesh Hashem b'makom hazeh." I see that there is a God in this place. V'anochi lo yadati. I did not know. Says in the Nesivos Shalom, what is Yaakov Avinu saying by these words? He's saying that until now, while Yaakov Avinu was sitting in the Beis Medrash for 14 years, Yaakov Avinu sat in the Beis Medrash of Shem Va'ever, and he understood why he felt on a high level, because he was sitting and learning Torah the whole day, Yaakov Avinu. But now, Yaakov Avinu left the Beis Medrash, and he's out in the world, and he falls asleep, and he feels that there's HaKadosh Baruch Hu here also outside the Beis Medrash. There's HaKadosh Baruch Hu outside in the world, and he sees that you're able to be Mekadesh Shem Shamayim, to feel HaKadosh Baruch Hu even when you're not actually sitting in the Beis Medrash. So Yaakov Avinu said, "Ochein yesh Hashem b'makom hazeh v'anochi lo yadati." I didn't know that this is possible, that even when I leave the Beis Medrash, I could get such high levels of Avodas Hashem and Kiddush Shem Shamayim, that I could bring myself to such a high level of Ruchnius. That I didn't know can be. And the Torah, through these Parshias, describes to us the regular things, regular I say in quote, that Yaakov Avinu did. That Yaakov Avinu, we see how he went to meet a wife and he got married, and Yaakov Avinu had the Shvatim, he had children, he dealt with his wonderful father-in-law, Lavan, and how you deal with that, and business. We see all these things that Yaakov Avinu did, and what Yaakov Avinu did with all these things that we would consider regular, everyday activities, Yaakov Avinu took all those up, and all those things were raised to a high level of Avodas Hashem and Kiddush Hashem. So now we can understand why Dafka Yaakov Avinu was Zoicha to this Nachal of B'li Mitzorim. Because Yaakov Avinu is the one who taught us that not only in the Beis Medrash, not only in the shul can a person raise himself to high levels. Even when a person goes out in the world, you make a Kiddush Hashem in everything that you do, the way he gets married, the way he brings up his children, the way he deals with Lavan. Yaakov Avinu, he is the one who expanded the boundaries outside the Beis HaMedrash. Oh, Yaakov Avinu, you expanded the boundaries of Kiddush Hashem and Avodas Hashem, so you're Zoicha to the brachos that are now also without boundaries. And when we come to Shabbos, you'll notice that Chazal do not say HaMis'aneg b'Shabbos. Many people make that error when they see Kol HaMa'aneg as a Shabbos, that you Zoicha to an Achla B'li Mitzorim. You think that it means only having a Geshmaka, potato kegel, chulent, whatever it is. Now we're ready up to meat boards and gala and $2,000 bottle of schnapps every Shabbos. That might be nice, but that's not what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to see in the Shabbos. It doesn't say Kol HaMis'aneg b'Shabbos. What it says is Kol HaMa'aneg es HaShabbos, where we give up our pleasures and we use them for Avodas Hashem on Shabbos, where we spend the Shabbos in the right way, of eating the Sudas in the correct way, making sure what we speak at the table is different than what we do during the week. What we do, and we take the time on a long Friday night to sit down and to learn something. When we speak Divrei Torah, when we get to davening on time, we daven like a mensch on Shabbos. That is Kol HaMa'aneg es HaShabbos, where we use Shabbos for the enjoyment of Avodas Hashem, and that's why it's Dafka said by Shabbos and not by other mitzvahs, because this giving up what we consider pleasurable and use it for Hashem on Shabbos, that's already expanding your boundaries. That is a nachala b'li mitzarim. So midah keneged midah, we get that bracha. And Shabbos, really we say kodesh hi lochem, Shabbos hamalka, that all the things of lochem, all the things we normally do for ourselves, kodesh hi lochem, we can turn them into kodesh. And this is really a lesson for all of us, how to receive special bracha. You want to receive a bracha from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which would normally be considered beyond regular, beyond normal. Chazal are telling us here, our Chachamim tells us, so you extend yourself for HaKadosh Baruch Hu a little more than is regular for you. And if you expand your levels of Kedusha, you expand your levels of Avodas Hashem into the regular things of life. When you go to work, the way you deal with your family, how you deal with your day-to-day matters, then just know if you push yourself a little further, HaKadosh Baruch Hu midah keneged midah will reward you with a nachala b'li mitzarim, boundless and borderless brachas.